Other interesting political news, you have the Trump campaign putting out a video compilation of Biden attempting to speak, and it went pretty viral, to say the least. Now, this is first posted thanks to End Wokeness on X Twitter. He says, haha, Trump just posted this video of Biden's most inspiring quotes. And it's only about a minute long. And granted, some people could argue I speak worse than Biden. You might have to fact check that. Might be about the same, depending on what day of the week it is. Though, I would argue, the more people that have clicked that subscribe button, the better and more articulate I become. Now, I say this because when I first started the podcast about a year ago, I spoke even faster than I did now, believe it or not. I was mostly monotone, so really kind of a little bit boring, and mispronouncing darn near everything, and to be frank, stumbling over my words more often than not. However, as I gain more subscribers, I've slowly but surely become much more articulate in comparison. So I do have that theory. If you click the subscribe button, whatever platform you're watching on, I would greatly appreciate it, and it could very well assist with my ability to speak coherently. And someday I will perhaps get through a whole episode speaking with quite articulate proficiencies. We might just surprise you and I. So if you can do me a favor and click that button, it would help fuel that theory, and I would, of course, appreciate it. Now, I usually say their voice is infinitely better than mine. Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. It's about a minute long, and looks like a little video compilation as well. So without too much further ado, go ahead and I'll click that.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with.
Now this is a great Scrabble word, if that's a real word. That's, I think this is translated, ASEEMFHUUTHIMAAFUUTHEEMSCUSEME. I think you win Scrabble with that word. That's like the whole board. Nevertheless.
Xi Jinping.
She knows so long as she is denied, our freedom can never be secured. We'll never forget lying around and him lying around, actually.
It is noteworthy that the percentage of women who register to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize Trueindernationanderpreshure.
That's my favorite one. Yeah, so Trueindernationanderpreshure, that's spelled, again, if you're a Scrabble or Bananagrams aficionado, this might be a real word. I mean, it's not, but it's spelled Trueindernationanderpreshure. Trueindernationanderpreshure, which I don't know how someone's not made like a rap or like a music parody of that. I mean, that sounds like a cool thing you'd see on the streets, as youth might say. Oh, that was so good. I'll go ahead and I'll wind it back a little bit.
An effective strategy to mobilize Trueindernationanderpreshure.
Trueindernationanderpreshure. It ends with a fireworks that says "Trump make America great again, 2024," which it'd be more hilarious if he wasn't leader of the free world and in charge of the nukes, the global economy, and has a ripple effect on pretty much everything. There was, believe it or not, if you dust off the history books, most public schools don't, but there was a time the U.S. government was so small, no one cared who was president, and no one cared about D.C. It didn't affect our daily lives. Now, it's hard to think of one thing you do that isn't affected by the government, from the water tax when you turn on your sink, when you fill up your car with the gasoline, the federal and state gasoline taxes, when you turn on your computer and you pay your internet telecom tax, when you go to the store, you get sales tax, when you get your paycheck, you have the payroll tax, you have the income tax, social security tax. And he's got to the point where the government affects damn near everything in our lives. So there's one of my favorite quotes that's become more and more true over time is, you might not be interested in politics, but politics is very much interested in you, which as a small business owner is why I always stay abreast of the most latest political news, so how it might help, hurt, or more, let's be honest, how it might hurt or more likely detrimentally hurt my clients' industries that they're in. Now, this went really viral. It got 3.4 million views and 64,000 likes, which another lost opportunity in terms of the Trump campaign for marketing and swag, which I always find those especially fascinating since I do a lot of marketing for my companies. And how they don't have a t-shirt with Biden with the Trueindernationanderpreshure like on the t-shirt. I mean, that's maybe not $1 million idea, but I think you sell a couple $100,000 of shirts and like I guess that wouldn't fit on a mug. It would be a very awkward mug. You have to look around it. But again, and there are also people who don't think Biden is saying this, especially the part where he says, repeat quote on. He says he says the instructions out loud as if it's part of the quote, which again, I don't think a president has done in our lifetime. Now, scrolling down, some of the top comments comes from Paul Zupa saying, I love it. Can't wait for the campaign season to really get going. They'll probably just swap Biden out in a month. Getting 253 likes, which, yeah, a lot of people are speculating that because, again, he's not very articulate. Again, he had a couple, I was about to say business ideas. He's had some good political ideas in the past. I remember his crime bill was very popular. Ironically, that's the one thing where he's lambasted that and he's very ashamed of it, which, I mean, a lot of my friends who are, they believe he should be on tougher on crime. I mean, there's a lot of support on the left and the right for that bill back in the day. And yeah, he's becoming less and less coherent. Just listen to most of his interviews. Just 4 years ago, he sounded more articulate, which, again, pretty much everyone does have that decrease in your abilities as you get older. There's a couple of outliers like Warren Buffett, who's still fairly articulate and he's in his 90s and he's still sharp as tack, but even he is slowing down a little bit. It happens to us all. Now, Final Cut Michigan says exponentially is not a word. So apparently Biden also says exponentially. Or maybe it's a new word we haven't heard of yet. Again, Webster Dictionary has changed and become PC, quote unquote, changing definitions to suit political needs. So maybe there'll be a new word tomorrow.
Exponentially. 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 Exponentially.
I mean, I probably said worse than that, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, my pronunciation, no, it's not a real word. I mean, there's a couple words that's, in my opinion, that's not good, but that's not that detrimental. I'm not too worried about that particular fumble. That got 250 likes, though. Casfast84 says, Trump-paralysm is out of control. Those extra MAGA extremists under my Uncle Bozy clown world getting 286 likes. Marjorie Taylor Greene press release parody account says Joe Biden is a disgrace to America, period, getting 453 likes. Junita Broderick says this is so funny, love it, getting 353 likes. Going down more and more. Hi, Kelly, I'm Joe, says Trump is hilarious, getting 92 likes. Gerald TM says my all-time favorite Biden sense is Trueindernationanderpreshure, which that is a very viral one. I think most people like that. I know Tim Pool, that's kind of his favorite as well. Which, yeah, I'm surprised Trump hasn't leaned into that term, Bidenese. That's a good marketing term. Be a good move on political chessboard, I think. Going down more and more. Alexis Huxley's Ghost says, I'm disappointed no hairy legs and roaches, quote. No, poor kids are just good. Oh, yeah. No, poor kids are just as good as white kids, quote. So much fine material left out. Getting 106 likes. And yet, Biden said that poor kids are just as good as white kids. He also said poor kids are just as smart as white kids, I think. Like, publicly, he said this. I think the most famous one that if the Republicans said this, they'd be canceled immediately because, mainstream media seems to like critique one side of political aisle. Again, Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Yeah. Going down more and more. Let's see. McMamus says, basically, Trump posted a video of Biden gibberish that even a person that does hand signals just shakes their head at. Getting 18 likes. Redway Press says, as I introduce the President of the United States, he invents new words in the English language every time he speaks, getting 89 likes. Which, I mean, some people, if his staff was really good at marketing, they'd be like, well, he's some might say Shakespearean. Shakespeare made up many of the words he uses. But no one in the White House is that brilliant, I don't think. The support staff, no. Let's see, there's any contrarian statements here. Someone did a Photoshop of him being Morpheus from The Matrix. It says, what if I told you I forgot what I told you? Getting 81 likes. Common Sense Custodian says, Trump is the most epic troll. I love it. This is awesome. Let's see, a lot of t-shirt advertisements. Let's see. Jeff Geraldine says, and actually there's probably enough material for a full-length movie. Getting 44 likes. And again, there are still a lot of people defending him, saying he's just as sharp and articulate as he was in the past. I'm not sure those people maybe are visually impaired and hearing impaired, but again, even my friends, and again, I have people on the left, people on the right in my life. Echo chambers get a little boring, so I try to spice it up and have a good rounding bout of who I surround myself with. A lot of my friends are left of the political aisle. they're quite frank saying, oh yeah, they're voting for the Democratic Party. They're not voting for Biden because they know he's gone downhill. He's just no longer, well, I don't know if he ever was the sharpest knife in the drawer, so to say, but yeah, they're just voting because they know the people surrounding him are controlling him. They know that's what's really going on in the government. But I mean, a lot of people already know Biden has these speaking faux pas, and I mean, he did have, like, again, for years people said he has a stutter, which again I can't critique him much because truth be told, if you're tuning in for the first time, spoiler alert, I stutter a lot. I've had, even after taking Toastmasters classes, which did help, but the bar was quite low. But stuttering is one thing. I mean, but if you just watch the old interviews of him, because again, he's been in government for like 50 years, just playing C-SPAN footage of him, and again, previous speeches, even if I don't agree with his methodology or his philosophy, what he's saying, he did sound quite articulate. You could understand him. And these days, it's getting more and more struggle. And spoiler alert to the next segment of the show, it's starting to become more and more apparent. But we'll get started in New York minute, or get started right now. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.